I am recording from my new studio and I am obsessed. What's the best that can happen? Ask yourself that every single day in every situation. I swear to God, it is changing my life. It will change yours. Okay, I am going to read the bio of our guest today. Her name is Paige Busby, who is a yoga teacher and Reiki practitioner who has turned her own journey of overcoming life's challenges, including beating breast cancer twice, into a path of service and support for others. We're going to find out everything about Reiki and overcoming breast cancer. That is huge. Let's welcome Paige to the show. All right, Paige, welcome to the show. I did your intro and I want you to kind of explain it in more layman's terms. What exactly is Reiki? Is it a new age thing? Is this something that's been around for centuries?
It's been around for a long time. Some people will say it's been around since Jesus' time. I'm not sure how accurate that is. It started in Japan. So, yeah, it's been around for hundreds of years for sure, maybe longer. I don't know. But in layman's terms, especially if you're coming from a Christian perspective, you can think of it as the Holy Spirit working
Okay.
through a practitioner or somebody who's kind of open to being that channel of the Holy Spirit.
So if we look at it, especially as a Christian, then we could probably do it to ourselves as well.
Yeah. So the first level of Reiki, they call it attunement. So when you're attuned to Reiki, the whole point of Reiki 1 is really self Reiki, which
Okay.
I love because it's all about healing yourself and, kind of tuning into what healing your body needs before offering that to someone else.
And you've done that with your breast cancer twice.
Yeah. Although I didn't have Reiki then. I wish I had.
What? So how
Yeah.
did you heal breast cancer?
Well, if we're looking at, for me, and I always say this is for me, if you have cancer, you're already feeling bad about that. And so I don't ever want to heap on that kind of negative feeling for someone. But for me, energetically, breast cancer, breasts representing love,
Mm-hmm.
I removed them. And that was a sacrifice that I made to try and stay in an unhealthy relationship.
Wow. So you removed both your breasts?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. But the first time I had it, I did a lumpectomy and radiation. And then when it came back a second time in the same breast, you can't re-radiate. So at that point, it was the choice of a single or double mastectomy.
Do you believe that it was linked to a bad relationship?
I believe it was linked to a lifetime of stress and a lifetime of unhealthy behaviors in me. There's a doctor, Gabor Maté, who is fantastic. And he talks about kind of the profile of someone with breast cancer, and that fit me to a T. Pushing my feelings down, pasting a smile on my face, peace at any price, making sure that, I was just kind of always the good girl. And I think a lot of that did disservice to my authentic self, and my body responded by saying, let's get rid of this.
Yes, because the body keeps the score. Side note,
Exactly.
I know that there's difference with your right side, your left side, the
Yes.
masculine, the feminine. Which side was it for you?
So it was my right side, which is the masculine side, which is interesting to me because I had struggles with not only my husband at the time, but also I grew up having struggles with my dad and just kind of had this lifetime of, I think, struggle on the masculine side.
Do you
I
think
really
that
did.
leaving the relationship actually helped cure the breast cancer?
No,
Okay.
I think what it did was, I think the breast cancer for me was a wake up call of the way I'm living is not working. And because I was still married for another 7 years,
Okay.
but I started changing who I was and how I acted in the relationship. And I think you just get to a point where it's not sustainable because you're changing and the other person isn't liking that.
Yeah. So to bring it to Reiki, first, thank you for sharing that. I think it's very
course,
big.
thanks.
And I think that there is so much more that we're learning and we're evolving, especially as a collective, to realize that the body truly does keep the score.
Yes.
And things and shutting our mouths, like that really does hurt us in the long run. Not living our authentic selves truly hurts us, not being the way that God created us to be truly hurts us, but the body is always working for you. I just want to throw that out there. The body's always working.
Agreed.
Even your cancer, the body was doing what it had to do to kind of get you to where you
Right.
needed to be.
Right. Louise Hay says the patient should be congratulated for working out the issue that's going on in their mind.
Oh, I love
And
that.
she was one of the original kind of thought leaders around the body as an instrument of healing.
Yeah.
And that illness is not a punishment, but it's actually your body's healing of something that needs to be worked out.
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
Again, I don't want to put that on other people, but that's
I'm
what
with
I
you
believe.
though. I'm sure most of our listeners of Dichotomy with Shannon are aligned with that. So now, can you do Reiki from the computer? Because if it's energetic, can you do it anywhere?
Yes. It's like magic. I love Reiki. To me, Reiki is like, yes, you can do it from anywhere. And some of my favorite times of having done Reiki have been what's considered distance Reiki. So I had a really cool experience when I was new to doing Reiki. I have a friend with twins. They're 8 now, but at the time they were 6, I guess. I hadn't been in their room in forever, so I didn't know what it looked like. But she texted me and she said, the girls won't go to sleep. Will you Reiki them?
Okay.
And the first thing with Reiki is you have to give consent. So I said, do they consent to receiving Reiki? And she said, yes. I just told them that Miss Paige can give them some good energy to help them sleep. Great. So I just got quiet, sat down, closed my eyes, imagined them. And what I saw was a pink blanket floating over the one on the left and kind of settling her down, and a red one floating over the right and settling her down. And I finished and I texted my friend. I'm like, okay, I've done it. Holy crap, they're asleep.
No way.
And I told her what I'd seen, and she sent me a picture, which was literally what I saw. And the one on the left was under a pink blanket, and the one on the right was under a red blanket.
That is insane.
Is
that like insane. Astral projecting?
No, I don't think it's astral projecting. I just think it's, Reiki really opened me up to my intuition and has given me insights that I don't think I didn't have before.
Okay.
And I believe we all have that ability. It's just how open are you to it?
Can you feel, like, looking at me, for instance, here, my energy, do you feel any like money blocks that you can take off of me?
I mean, I could if we both decided to sit here quietly and I tuned into your energy. For me, it's not something that like I walk into a room and I'm like, well, that person has an energy block.
You don't? Okay.
No,
I feel like I would be like that. I'm like, ooh, that person needs help.
Well, and I think some people are. What's interesting, and as I grow kind of in practicing it, is that the longer I spend around people and like around a specific person, I was around someone this summer I went to visit with my boyfriend, and the longer I spent with that person, the more I felt like I saw like the true her on an energetic level.
Interesting.
Yeah. And everybody just experiences it differently.
Do you see colors? I've heard of people like seeing colors and auras, and they can feel sensations and hear messages. Is that kind of how you are?
No, for me, it's almost like when I start doing Reiki, there's a movie that's like playing in my head that's showing me what's going on with the person, what could be, kind of coming in the future, what might have happened in the past that's affecting them. I mean, so much of how we behave, not only, in my opinion, is childhood trauma, but it's also could be in utero trauma.
Okay.
Past life trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's kind of like I'm always trying to send healing like back in time in someone's life. Because if we think about, we live in this timeline that looks horizontal, but I really believe time is like a column.
Yes.
And we only have now. So going back, healing anything that might have happened in the past to your soul or your spirit, and then sending Reiki forward to pave a new way of behavior for you.
Yes. I saw you a couple months after my sister had died and my rib was out. It was a trauma rib. Do you remember this?
I do.
And nothing, like I went to PT, to doctors, to energy healers, and something that you did in our Reiki session, I, one, cried like a baby. 2, that was what started my rib to feel better. And now my rib went back into place. So thank you. So there is something scientific to this. What would you say to the naysayers? I mean, not that you have to convince anybody, but why are we still thinking this isn't a real thing? It's in 2025.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, kind of to your point earlier, I do think we're moving into a time, and it's interesting if you look at kind of like the global perspective, and it feels like everything is like contracting, contracting,
Mm,
contracting, getting smaller. And I think it's in response to the fact that like we are becoming more open and we are becoming more aware of a
yes.
larger kind of more spiritual dimension, that we're all happier if we live in that place, whether
Yeah.
you're white, brown, female, male, straight, gay.
Mm,
If you're living kind of earlier, we said it, to our authentic selves, who God created
yes.
us to be.
You consider yourself a Christian, right?
Yeah.
So do I. And I feel like people like us probably get some hate from the legalistic Christians
Yeah.
out there, the Pharisees. What would you say to the women that are not open-minded, or is there anything that you can do to love on them, to open their eyes a little bit, to be more open-minded, to receive something so beautiful like this?
I mean, every time I do Reiki on someone, what I walk away with, and people will say, does it deplete you? And it doesn't deplete you. And Reiki should not deplete you, because you're acting as a pipe or a conduit for God's love to come through you into someone else.
Wow.
And what I see when I do it is how truly beautiful everyone is.
Mm,
I mean, how at our heart and soul, we are all loving, kind creatures who are working through our life and our trauma and our
yes.
issues imperfectly,
Yes.
which, the Bible talks about.
Right.
And, we're just all trying to do our best. I really believe that.
I remember, and not to give anything away, but we did do it with a group of people, and there was a lot of heaviness with our group of
Hmm.
Christian women, with not living our true selves, with almost outsourcing all of our power away to the patriarchy or the spirit of religion. Do you see, or have you seen that a lot with Christian people, or is that everybody?
I mean, I personally think it's everybody, men and women both. And, it's interesting you bring up the patriarchy,
Mm,
because I feel like for me, especially as I age, I'm looking at how am I just automatically living with patriarchal messages,
yes.
around my body, around productivity, monetizing my hobbies,
Yes.
being productive all the time, being perfect, thin, beautiful,
Mm,
smart, funny,
mm,
all the things, and like realizing how God doesn't require that,
no.
any of that from
Right.
us. And it doesn't do men well either when they're stuffing their feelings and trying to live in a certain way that is not integrated, male and female.
Yeah. I got to tread lightly here, but it is interesting because I've heard, and this again, I never want to bash Christianity. I am a Christian, but I am here to start speaking up, especially for the women, because we have been so controlled. And I heard from men, you are the helper to me, because they weaponize Bible verses against you. So I think that the more people that are open-minded to things that you are doing or things that I am doing, I think that we are going to raise our frequency into a higher timeline. So what is the most, or wildest, I should say, transformation that you have ever witnessed during a live session?
Oh, that is a great question. I mean, I think, the thing that happened with my friend's twins, that same friend has a dog, and the
You
dog
could do
started.
Reiki on animals?
Yes,
Okay.
I have a cat who loves Reiki.
Wow.
Every time I Reiki someone at my house, I'll have to say to them ahead of time, my cat may jump up on you. My cat, like every time my cat is on the person I'm Reikiing.
Wow, because it feels
Yeah.
the energy.
He feels the energy. So, I mean, I had a group where I did like 3 people. I would get them in a yin yoga pose and then Reiki them. Each time I moved, he would move with me to that
Wow.
person. He just
Easy.
jumped up on the desk. He's like, "Oh, you're talking about me. Here I am."
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, my friend had a dog. The dog started peeing in the house, and she was a potty trained dog. And I said, "Do you want me to Reiki her?" And she's like, "Sure." And so I did. And I texted my friend. It was a Saturday afternoon. I'm like, the feeling that I'm getting is that she has a urinary tract infection.
And she
And,
did.
and she did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's so good to know that you can do it on animals.
I also do it on my plants.
You
I do
do?
it. I do it on everything.
Give me like a quick, like 60-second
I
shift.
mean,
If you're feeling really shitty or crappy, what is something you can do within 60 seconds to change your energy?
Sit down, close your eyes, breathe.
Okay.
Breathe in and out through your nose and just still your body, still your mind as much as you can, realizing it's not perfect. Like our minds don't stop, but like when your thoughts kind of run off, just
Yeah.
bring them back. Be gentle with yourself. See what comes up in your body. You may laugh, you may cry, you may find anger comes up. It's kind of like a pot on the stove, like what's going to come up through the water? How's it going to bubble up?
Yes.
You can just do this, get a little energy, place your hands on your heart.
But can you do it to dead people?
Yeah. Well, first of all, there's consent, right? Like we always go
Yes.
back to there's consent. So like
Okay.
if I want to send Reiki to someone in my life that's alive, whom I love, and I can't text them first and ask them, would you like to receive it? I don't just send them Reiki. And I think that's
Oh,
kind of back to your earlier thing about walking into a room. Like I'm not going to walk into a room and start giving everyone Reiki
okay.
because that's not my business to mess with your energy
Th-
unless you say you want it.
That's so interesting. This is a true story. I went to a concert once. It was not my cup of tea. It was like metal, really heavy. And I felt such a heaviness and such a darkness that I don't do Reiki, but I started praying over the crowd. I was kind of nervous, like, and not just because it was metal music, okay? I'm really cool. I can handle and headbang like the rest of them. But there was something dark about the crowd, and it felt like a lost blind crowd. So I just prayed and prayed the entire concert. I got out of there. I was freaking exhausted. It might have not even worked, but I felt the need to pray and send love and energy to these people.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing, like I'm going to a concert this weekend that's going to be a pretty heavy concert and I like the music and it will be fun, but I hear what you're saying. And like, I've already started like kind of like sending Reiki ahead to that space.
Okay.
And also like, I imagine myself like in a bubble of Reiki, but you can imagine yourself in a bubble of good energy wherever you go. You don't have to
Yes.
have Reiki to do that.
And that just really shows that you really can create a reality.
Yeah.
You can protect yourself. I send bubbles of light to me and my kids all the time.
Heaven is here on earth, right?
I love that. Oh my God. Okay. Well, my mind is blown about this. I have one more quick question about the first, second, third. Like there's like 15 Reikis now. What is this?
Yeah. So it's just different levels of like knowledge. So Reiki 1 is about self-knowledge or about
Oh.
Reiki in yourself. Reiki 2 is about being able to like give it to other people. Reiki 3 is about being attuned. So now I can give it to other people.
So you're a
I can
third.
attune them. So I am my teacher broke it up into 2 levels of 3. So I've gone through half. So the last part of 3 will be I now have the ability to do what they call attunement, which it's like you can think of it as like tuning on a radio dial into the station of Reiki.
Paige, how can people find you, do Reiki with you? I'm assuming you do them online as well.
I can. Whoop,
Oop,
there
there's
goes
the
the cat.
cat.
Sorry.
Those that are listening on Apple or Spotify, you didn't just see that, but those that are watching on YouTube, you just saw the cutest little cat run across the screen real quick.
You did.
All right, Paige.
Yeah, so my Instagram is You But Better with Yoga, and I talk about yoga and Reiki and all things spiritual on that Instagram page, and people can reach out to me, DM me, and I'm happy to reach back out and do some Reiki.
This is amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on Dichotomy with Shannon and having the conversation with me.
Thank you for inviting me. It was wonderful. It's good to see your beautiful, radiant, smiling, energetically positive face.
Thank you so much. All right, you guys, don't forget to look Paige up, follow her, go to her, energetic Reiki. Let's heal some wounds. Let's get rid of some blockage. And thank you so much for watching Dichotomy with Shannon. See you on the next one.